Khamzat Chimaev may be the most dangerous MMA grappler there's ever been, but his one-dimensional approach may lead to his downfall. Though Chimaev poses a unique threat and challenge, the right opponent with the right tools could flip the script and drown him instead. In this video, we'll dissect Chimaev's unique style, then analyze how to shut it down. If you like cold, in-depth analysis, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and let's get started. Chimaev's wrestling is somewhat unorthodox. While most wrestlers prefer to shoot from a deep orthodox or southpaw stance to get the proper amount of drive, Chimaev is perfectly happy shooting while squared. He always sets up his takedown, typically with a flick feint, a step-through cross, or a kick. The goal of each is to pull up his opponent's guard or straighten their stance to delay their takedown defense. The kick is arguably most effective because fighters will often commit both hands to blocking, leaving their hips fully vulnerable. Chimaev's entire goal in shooting is to work to the body lock. He initiates with a double leg to begin chain wrestling, but if he can only isolate one leg or needs to adjust, he's perfectly comfortable progressing from there. Once he has the body lock, he'll progressively work to advance his position. He pulls his opponent's focus away from escape by forcing them to defend ground and pound and submission attempts. While most grapplers will try to get their hooks in and take the back when it's exposed, in modern MMA, fighters know how to defend this and can often escape. Instead, Chimaev often maintains wrist control and hooks with his closer leg to control posture rather than attempting to force a back take. This allows him to freely land ground and pound until his opponent is forced to give up a worse position. If his opponent seems at all close to escaping, he re-establishes the body lock to get full control back. When his opponent is maintaining a strong defense, Chimaev will use the body lock to drag his opponent backwards to modify the position until the obstacle is eliminated. Against Whitaker, Chimaev uncharacteristically prioritized submission attempts and dramatic positional changes over control, which did lose him certain positions. It's hard to know if this is a new direction he's going, or if it was due to reads such as Whitaker often giving his back. Ultimately, Chimaev is Dagestani wrestling on steroids. All the suffocating pressure, but paired with an explosiveness that elevates it to another level. We'll break down defending Chimaev's wrestling into 3 stages. Stage 0 is killing the initial shot. Since Chimaev prefers to shoot early in fights, his initial strike should be treated as setup for a takedown. You can't completely drop your guard since Chimaev does have power in his hands, but you can make adjustments. Block early kicks with only one hand and focus more on head movement to defend the cross, which keeps you ready to drop your hands as soon as you see the level change. Because Chimaev shoots very low, underhooks are a lot less effective against him. Whitaker tried to grab underhooks against Chimaev, but couldn't stop the momentum because his base was completely compromised. A down block would be considerably more effective to kill Chimaev's momentum. While Whitaker was already in a bad position, if he had down blocked hard, then tried to scramble back to the center, he may have had a chance to escape. As Chimaev's shots are very reliant on athleticism, his takedowns degrade progressively the longer the fight goes. He always shoots proactively rather than reactively when his opponent makes a mistake, so less explosiveness means minimal ability to get to the hips. This will allow you to focus more on striking defense, as you'll have a wider window to initiate your takedown defense. If Chimaev is able to overwhelm your initial takedown defense, we'll progress to stage 1 defense. During stage 1, the priorities are to protect your back and defend the body lock. Once he has the body lock, and especially if he's able to pass to the back with it, Chimaev is extremely difficult to shake. The whizzer is the best tool to prevent the back take. If you clamp down on it hard, there's no way for Chimaev to turn the corner until he addresses it. Aliskerov was able to shut down all of Chimaev's wrestling predominantly by focusing on the whizzer and maintaining his balance. Wrist control on the opposite side can prevent the body lock, and the combination of the two is how Borz was able to initially defend. If you have the whizzer or are defending well in general, Chimaev's next plan of attack is to switch to a single leg. While it hasn't been attempted yet, if in the center you may be able to limp leg out. This is extremely effective against Dagestani single legs, and since Chimaev's wrestling style has a lot of similarities, it stands to reason the same defense may be effective. However, against the fence, this isn't an option. Borz ultimately got taken down here, but Aliskerov showed a way out. By focusing on maintaining a strong base and switching to pulling up on the overhook, Chimaev wasn't able to establish the correct position for the single leg and had to abandon the attempt. If you get taken down, we progress to stage 2 defense, survive and escape. Once on the ground, Chimaev is sticky, but does seem to have trouble following rolls. Borz was able to Granby roll into full guard and get up, and Holland escaped multiple times via rolling. Holland's predictability did eventually allow Chimaev to adapt and lock up the submission, but thrown in sporadically, the rolling is effective. Wrist control to deny the body lock is still necessary on the ground to maintain your mobility, and preventing hooks will help to stop Chimaev from advancing, since Chimaev will switch from wrist control to the body lock whenever he feels his opponent building a base. You can beat him to it and attempt to preemptively defend the body lock as you build. Similar to the Dagestanis, Chimaev's grappling is weakest when he transitions, which provides a brief window to escape. Watch my video on Dagestanis for more details there. Whitaker used Chimaev's backtake attempt to set up an escape, then explode and briefly disengage. The earlier Chimaev's grappling can be denied, the better, but there are opportunities to escape at all stages. On the feet, Chimaev switches stances constantly, but has very little nuance when in southpaw. His southpaw techniques are mainly limited to jabs and round kicks, often doubling or tripling up on the jab. He dropped Borz and stunned Usman with a southpaw jab, likely indicating that he's heavily right-hand dominant. While the round kicks do of course have to be defended, they don't have the same fluidity or power as his orthodox kicks, and therefore aren't as big a threat. Early on in the fight, Chimaev seems to focus mainly on his 1-2s when in orthodox. He'll throw in occasional teeps and calf kicks, with the calf kick reliably coming seconds after switching from southpaw to orthodox. Defensively speaking, Chimaev is reliant on the high guard. He will take a step back away from strikes sometimes, but has minimal head movement. In the Usman fight, Chimaev did implement more upper body movement, but ultimately did not use it to defend strikes. In the pocket, Chimaev will focus on hooks, emphasizing power by throwing from the hip. The longer the fight goes, the less Chimaev utilizes his straight shots and the more willing he is to brawl in the pocket. There are 3 main weaknesses in Chimaev's stand-up that we want to punish. The first weakness is his low kick issue. Chimaev seemingly just can't see low kicks coming. Both Borz and Usman were able to throw naked calf kicks at Chimaev. He rarely defended and never punished. Chimaev also has a tendency to switch stances by stepping backwards as his opponent throws. This creates an opening for the inside calf kick, and the damage would be worsened by the fact that most of his weight is on that leg as he's stand switching. Chimaev also likes to throw naked low kicks, but he's not quick enough to avoid being punished. Borz was able to counter Chimaev's calf kicks with his hands, consistently tagging him. The second weakness we want to punish is Chimaev's high guard. While someone like Petr Yan is able to utilize a tight high guard to avoid damage, Chimaev's can be split fairly easily. Usman was able to land straight shots down the pipe with minimal telegraphing since Chimaev did not have enough time to step backwards. Early on in the fight, while Chimaev is shooting or standing on the outside, this is the perfect way to create damage with minimal exposure and risk. While it's not flashy, sometimes basic fundamentals are most critical. The third weakness we want to punish is Chimaev's recklessness in the pocket. Chimaev will often leap in with strikes, but doesn't know how to deal with an extended exchange. In the pocket, Chimaev throws hooks from his hips and constantly drops his guard. He was clueless when Borz grabbed the collar tie and started blasting uppercuts, and getting countered badly in the pocket led to him nearly getting finished at the end of round 2. While Borz' educated brawling was effective, calmly sniping with strays when Chimaev drops his hands could keep the sequence a bit cleaner. As Chimaev enters the pocket more later into fights, that's when the opportunity is greatest to take advantage of his defensive irresponsibility. While it may seem like exploiting these weaknesses could open you up to takedowns, remember that Chimaev typically does not attempt reactive takedowns. Despite his wrestling dominance, this is a massive gap that opens up opportunities for his opponents. Now that we've covered Chimaev's style and weaknesses, let's put together a decisive game plan to beat him. Round 1 inevitably will be difficult. We want to hold the center as much as possible so it's harder for him to chain wrestle us to the fence. Anticipate the early shot and make sure we're ready to drop our hands immediately. When he shoots, we try to hit the down block and scramble back to the center. If he gets a hold of us, we clamp down hard on the overhook and try to control the other wrist so we can't establish a body lock. When he reshoots on the single, we elevate the overhook and shift our weight to shut down the angle. If we're in the open, we can try to limp leg out, and overall we take any opportunity when he transitions to explode and escape. We blast the calf kicks early and often, ensuring that we take advantage of his step back stand switches. None of his calf kicks can go unpunished, especially when he switches from southpaw to orthodox and predictably throws one. Defensively, we emphasize head movement so that Chimaev can't pull up our guard to shoot, and when he's in southpaw we specifically anticipate the jabs and round kicks. With the hands, we keep things straight early, looking to split Chimaev's high guard. As the fight progresses, we transition to focusing more on pocket boxing. We counter sloppy entries and establish the collar tie when it's presented to blast uppercuts. Always stay calm and look for Chimaev to drop his guard as he's throwing wild hooks to punish precisely. By maintaining high volume in the pocket, we look to drown Chimaev. As fatigue and damage piles up, we can always keep our guard up as we'll be able to stuff his labored takedowns. As soon as we escape his grasp, we go back to punishing, not giving him a moment to breathe as we chase the finish. Fighting Chimaev requires elite grappling fundamentals and the composure to weather the early storm. Do you believe that Dricus Du Plessis has what it takes? Let me know in the comments. Once again, if you like cold in-depth analysis, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and join the community. Thanks for watching, and until next time.